Shalom, it's the time, hit the mic, realign, Torah flow so divine, got the grind by design, from the shtetl to the limelight, stars in the scene, schmoozing pride, bringing dreams, keep it kosher clean, schmoozing time where the real ones meet, Jewish pride, beats hit, can't retreat, personal brands leveled up, take the stage, schmoozing vibe, wisdom out the cage, bagels and beats, mix the sacred with the streets, mesh and hustle with mitzvahs, making moves.
Hey Schmoozers, welcome back to the show. My name is David Cobby, and I'm so glad you're joining us. We've got a really powerful episode lined up today. Before we dive in, I just want to say thank you. It genuinely means so much to me that you're choosing to spend a part of your day with us. And hey, if you haven't already, make sure you follow the show on whatever platform you're listening on so that you'll never miss another episode. Now, let me ask you this question. Are you doing enough? I know it's a loaded question, and I know it's tough, but really think about it for a second. Are you doing enough to grow your career? Are you doing enough for your family? And are you doing enough to live proudly as a Jew? It's a tough one, I know, but today's guest, no doubt in my mind that he is doing more than enough. After October 7th, he immediately sprang into action and founded Beef Up Our Boys, a grassroots initiative ensuring that the frontline Israeli soldiers never go hungry. With over $1 million worth of beef jerky already distributed, he is absolutely changing and supporting these soldiers, making sure that they do not go hungry and they can focus on winning the war. Here with us today to talk about his Jewish identity, mission, and personal brand, please welcome to the show, Beef Up Our Boys founder, Chaim Rutenberg. Chaim, how are we doing today?
Praise the Lord. Thank you, David. Appreciate that intro.
Of course. I feel like, even though I was praising you a little bit, I still feel like I didn't tell everybody the entire story of who you are and kind of your mission. So why don't we just start with that? Chaim, what did I miss about you in that intro? Like, why are you taking this initiative to make beef jerky for our soldiers?
Wow, that's a loaded question. And I think a proud Jew is so much of what our calling is, of what I'm trying to accomplish. And I would say that, just like you said, are we doing enough? And I wouldn't say that I'm doing enough, because we always got to be doing more. We always got to be challenging ourselves, stretching ourselves, and we want to scale. We want to grow. And we got to look at it from that standpoint. Like, am I growing as a proud Jew? And what does that mean for me? What does that mean for the world around me? What's my impact? And October 7th hit and all hell broke loose. I mean, internally, to me, October 7th started 2-3 weeks before on Yom Kippur, when there was public fighting in a prayer service. I don't care what you're praying for. I don't care where you are, but show some respect, show some dignity, show that you believe in someone else's view of a higher power. And the lack of that respect woke me up that we're missing something. We're not connecting genuinely. October 7th hit. I'm in the center of the country. The whole country literally shook. And the first few hours, we heard things. We heard that, unfortunately, thousands of people had infiltrated. We heard that there were hundreds to thousands of people killed, hostages. And we heard that the army knew about it the night before and they failed to act on it. That's the news that I got in the first moments of the war. And everyone heard what they had to hear. When I heard that, I said, I want to make a difference. I want this not to happen again. And October 7th hit. I said, I want to connect. And I did a few projects. We could go into it, Hadassah Hospital, volunteer systems, all the different little things. And at some point, my nephew got in touch with me. He was hungry. And my wife said, we got to get him beef jerky, and we'll discuss that. She's writing a low-carb kosher cookbook, keto kosher made easy, and got to get beef jerky. No one had beef jerky. So I said, this is my mission. Like I sprung into action. I opened the Google Drive, called a bunch of vendors. Who makes it? How much can you make in a day? What would you charge for that? How many days do you need to scale to that? Delivered about 140 packages of beef jerky and some jackets to his unit. And he's the type of guy that if he's cold and he's hungry, he's not eating, he's not taking the jacket until 97 guys have it. So I drove up,
Wow.
dropped off these jackets. They said the jackets were no good. The beef jerky, they loved it because they backpack it into them. These guys are on a remote location overlooking Lebanon border. The enemy's not supposed to know where you are. That means there's no trucks. There's no phone. There's nothing. You're getting stuff backpacked in through the woods at night. How much protein can you backpack in? And we got in beef jerky. I ended up taking the jackets to the big northern base in Israel. I dropped off the jackets. Under the jackets was a package of maybe 15, 20 beef jerky bags. I gave the guy in charge of the logistics there to taste it. He's like, this is interesting. This is lightweight. You mean it doesn't need refrigeration? You mean once you open it, it's still good for a few days? It's pure meat? This is incredible. It tastes great. He gave it out to some commanding officers. I didn't realize the head of some major units. By the time I got back to the center of the country, he's like, I've got 2 special forces guys. They each need 1,000 packages, emergency. Boom.
Oh my God. That's incredible. I love how it was kind of just like a spur of the moment idea for you. And now you've been so successful with it. And I think that kind of just speaks to who you are as a person, Chaim. And, we've talked on the phone for 30 minutes before, but I can already tell that you just have a good soul and you genuinely want to do good things. So in terms of Judaism, one of the good things that you did is that you made Aliyah. You made the choice. You had the choice to either stay in America or make Aliyah. And this has kind of been a big debate amongst my guests of them making Aliyah, saying, all Jews should make Aliyah, only some Jews should make Aliyah, making Aliyah is easy, making Aliyah is hard, whatever. I want to hear your Aliyah story. Like, what was the why for you? Like, you didn't necessarily have to leave America. So why'd you decide to move to Israel?
So if I could just address the point head on about making Aliyah and I believe that everyone's got their own journey. Their soul speaks to them. And you got to treat your spirituality and your life journey as you would a profession. Like, look at beef jerky. It's not on the market. It's in high demand. It's a huge impact. Value over cost. Boom. Invest your time into this. We got to look at our lives. Like, why does someone get married and settle down and raise a family and go to university? Because you're like, I can increase my potential. I could increase beyond what could even possibly be. And that to me was this point of moving to Israel, which is pretty wild because in a way it was a spiritual journey because got married. We actually lived in Israel when we first got married. It was like a honeymoon.
Mm-hmm.
And for a year and a half, I set up a laboratory for someone, this big, huge 30,000 square foot laboratory. So I'm good in logistics. I got a good logistics experience. The job kind of ended. We came back to America, bought a nice house on an acre land right next to the synagogue, beautiful deers and bears and a nice, beautiful vegetable garden. Like, everything's cool. One day I'm pulling into my garage and I'm like, I was thinking we had 1 car, 1 kid, everything's good. Looking at my high ranch, I'm like, you know what? I could just double the size of the house. It's only not cost that much and have all this more space, gas, this, that. And right then they had this, I was in love with this, and in love with it was a good car, Infiniti, 37X, whatever it was, like $400 they were leasing this thing out for. I'm like, it's so cheap. Why would I not have a second car? It makes sense, miles wise. It's good.
Yeah.
It's worthwhile.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait a minute. This is not me. Like, where's this dream coming from? This is not me. And down my block, a lot of houses were being knocked down. People putting basketball courts in the basement. Like, people were scaling up property wise, but materialistically, spiritually, like, whose dream is this? What am I fighting for? And the crazy thing was, and this is just goes to what the advantage of Israel for anybody is. At the time, I'm a specialist. I do software testing. And I've got like a number of years in software testing because that's what I believe. Pick one thing that's needed, that has an impact, and do it well. Get with the beef jerky. Just do one thing, do it well. And I was looking for a job in upstate New York, and I couldn't find anything. I wasn't so happy where I was working. They were bought by another company. I couldn't find anything. And then all of a sudden, I find 3 amazing jobs online. Like, amazing security jobs, like great, crazy jobs. I'm like, It's unbelievable. I call up the recruiter and they're like, I'm like, where are the jobs? And she's like, it's Renana, Tel Aviv, and Herzliya. I'm like, what? Maybe I didn't notice the country. I'm like, this is crazy. I happen to be going to Israel. I go to these job interviews. They offer me a job on the spot. I think it's in Perva. Like, you got to move now. I'm like, you know what, God? I'm not moving now, but I got the message. And like, where do you have the opportunity within a short, small location to be in contact with so many Fortune 500 companies, with so much spiritual opportunity? And I grew up in upstate New York. You know what it's like to be by the beach. It's like a novelty. So here I am, half hour from the beach, half hour from the hotel, and the people, the energy here. It's like, I met a guy, he actually doesn't even live in Israel. Actually lives in, I think he lives in Minnesota actually. And he was
Oh,
telling
okay.
me that maybe he's in New Jersey. He's telling me that I met, like, I never asked him what they do. He had to tell me what his wife does. She's in education. I'm like, what do you do? He's like, I'm the gabbai of the shul. I'm the sexton of the shul. I take care of the synagogue. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
and I got to give you a bracha because that's incredible. It's obviously not your job. No one gets paid to take care of the synagogue, at least these small Orthodox congregations. But what do you do? What's first to your mind is what's my impact? What's my kindness? What's my truth? And to me, the number one reason that I made Aliyah, the beauty of it, the opportunity of it is the growth space, spiritually, physically. And Israel is just at its infancy, and a country is built by its people. Its people are its heroes. And that's why to move to Israel, because whoever you are, you've got a place in Israel.
Absolutely. I
That was a
want
good
to,
pitch, huh?
Chaim, yeah, that I'm booking my tickets right now. I want to ask you something. So on the phone, we were talking about how your mission is kind of Tikkun Olam, and that can mean a many different things, but literal translation is like fix the world. And if that's kind of like your Jewish mission, and I'm gonna play devil's advocate here because I like to have a little machloket whenever I'm on the podcast. It's who doesn't
It's
like
a
a little
schmooze. You got
argument?
to schmooze it
Yes,
out.
exactly. So if you're so focused on Tikkun Olam, which you are, you're fixing the world, you're helping our soldiers, etc. Why would you move to Israel when the real issue with the Jewish people, I believe, stems in America? And we could get into this whole debate of like, are some Americans not proud Jews? Are some Americans not doing enough to fix the issue? But I guess like going back to what I was saying earlier, like if you really focus on fixing the world, tikkun olam, etc., wouldn't you be able to fix more by staying in America and fixing the issues we have here than in Israel? Or do you really think that what you're doing is the ultimate tikkun olam by moving to Israel and helping our soldiers on the front line? And again, I'm playing devil's advocate here. I want to hear your take on this, though.
Great question. And again, everyone's got their own journey. And in a way, Tikkun Olam, there's many Kabbalistic, practical ways of approaching it. Ultimately, we all have our own journey. And at a certain point in our journey, we scale up. We scale up from university. We leave the desert, the midbar. We leave the desert and we go home. When you get home, it's not a hotel. You can't complain to room service that your place is not clean. You know, you left it dirty. You're coming back to a dirty room. It's just the way it is. And like, I believe that we say, Ki mitzion tete Torah, from Zion, the light of Torah, the light of universalism comes forth. The light of, like we said before, we all have a soul. We all connect on a spiritual level. And
Mm-hmm.
that space, at a certain point, we elevate. We reach a place where we've taken care of our journey. And it's time for us to come home and scale up. And that to me is, yes, the work is everywhere, but ultimately, like, there's no escaping it. That the work is soul work. It's in our hearts. It's getting out of bed no matter where you are in this world. And like you said in the beginning, like, expand your capabilities.
I want to ask you about the beef jerky for a second. So I think beef jerky, and again, I'm not super familiar if it's like a big thing in Israel, but I feel like it's an American thing, at least from my understanding. Americans love their beef jerky, and unfortunately, the beef jerky here is most of it's not kosher. We have packs of beef jerky that are like $10 each, which like I'm not gonna start complaining about the prices here in America for kosher meat, whatever. That's a conversation for another time. But I guess operationally, how are you doing it? Like producing what, $1 million worth of beef jerky in the past year, 2 years seems pretty much impossible. So like how are you operationally doing this?
Good question. A lot of it, a lot of it is I don't know the right word to use it. Maybe I would say like someone might say divine intervention, like serendipitously things working out, things connecting. I've got so many stories where things connected, and part of this story is the stories evolved. Like in the beginning of the war, I was buying it from vendors, but again, they can't exactly scale with them. And a lot of them were not exactly at the level because the ultimate goal is I'm a logistics person. So if I'm focusing on manufacturing something, I want to manufacture it to the highest ISO, GMP, you name it level so that ultimately, like you said, it could be inexpensive on the store. You could scale it on an industrial level. The army could go buy it. Once you have the basics, it's just multiplied. So the war started, and I am basically the age where people would be called back into reserves. Early 40s, you'd be called back into reserves. And that's a lot of how the war was successful because
Mhm.
you're taking these guys who took their army experience and then pivoted that into careers. So they're vice presidents of logistics. They're big organizational powers that they've done in the professional domain. And in Israel, the startup world, they're used to working hard. And then
Yeah.
they get called back into combat, and they're going to use those organizational skills, those interpersonal skills, for organizing the fighters. And so to me, I'm like, God, give me an opportunity. Give me something that you need. I'm ready to serve. And so it was on the barbecues or getting burgers for unit stationed down the street, little items. And then someone posted out, like on Wednesday nights, when first Wednesday the war started, that Hadassah Hospital, the main hospital in Israel, needed 600 volunteers. Their staff, either they couldn't get into the country, they were fighting, their spouses were fighting, and this was support staff, garbage duty, cleaning up the floors, filling up
Mhm.
bins, all that. And so I'm like, this is so cool. If this is something you really need, I'm ready to do it. Let's do this. Let's do it the right way. So like everyone show up, it's like it was on a Wednesday night, show up at Thursday morning at 8 o'clock. I'm like, that's not how you do it. You don't tell everyone to show up. So I ordered a bus. And it was like 1,600 shekels, like $450, because my wife does Beit Shemesh baseball.
Uh-huh.
And so I knew the bus guy, 9:30 at night. I called him up. I'm like, okay, I texted out to people in the family, you want to connect with this opportunity. People in America, you want to chip in for this bus. And by first few hours, the bus was empty. I'm like, oh, what did I just do? By the morning, full bus. Went to the hospital. We cleaned up, mopped the floors, beds, all this crazy stuff. And then I'm like, met with the hospital staff. I'm like, you really need this? We'll do it the right way. You have all these schools, these gap year programs, college students in Israel. They cannot go on trips because there's a war. They would love to volunteer. So I set them up with groups of students. So they divided up the days and they had all these yeshivas and college programs, all that were sending their students to the hospital. And then within
Mhm.
like, literally within a day, their volunteer need was gone, was done. And then the next day we were setting up standby emergency rooms. And they were filling up basically the order was the attic of the hospital was full of hospital beds. And they were moving the beds down into the classrooms. And they were taking the desks from the classrooms and loading up the hallway. I'm like, you guys can't do this. You're blocking the hallways with the desks. They're like, no, our instruction is to clear the class. I'm like, just stop. And this was like, I learned my voice a little bit, like, speak up. And then I left the hospital. This was like, I was there for maybe 10 hours of volunteering. And they said from that 1,600 shekels, over 1,600 volunteer hours were generated.
That's insane.
And I'm like, God, you gave me something to do. I felt like this was too easy.
Mm-hmm.
Take the merit of this, take the opportunity of this, and give me a job that you really. And I remember thinking to myself, like, are you sure? Are you sure you're going to go the distance? Are you sure you're going to do what it takes? And I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it. Then it was
It's
right before
incredible.
Shabbat. Right after Shabbat, my nephew called. We got him the beef jerky. And then I scaled up. I called my work. I work for Genie Energy, IDT Energy. I was like, well, they're QA. Like, listen, I'll stay on top of my work, but I'm not going to be able to bill you for the next, month or two while I get this project going. I got a job to do. Can you forward me the money? I'll pay it back over time. They're like, you're our man on the ground. We're honored that you're doing this project. It's on us. Try to stay on top of your work.
Wow.
So now I was able to like focus, which was a gift. And then like by Thursday night, this was Tuesday, I dropped off the stuff, got the request. By Thursday night, I had 1,500 packages of beef jerky, which is like $15,000 of beef jerky. And to me, the donations were not coming in enough because the requests were huge. And the vendors, I had 3 vendors lined up. Each one could do 1,000 packages a day. I'm like, I need to raise 30 grand a day. Like I was like, you're nuts. Look, we didn't quite do that, but we did a big impact. And then people didn't get it. They were like, people even yelled at me like, why are you doing beef jerky? Well, I'm getting drones. I'm getting tactical gear. I'm like, it's tactical food. Think about it. It's a huge difference. And what ended up happening was we got parents were coming by to pick up bags for their kid. And like, my son's a commander. He doesn't eat fish. That's all the protein the Army's giving them. My son is starving. I'm finally able to get stuff to him. This is like 12 days after the war started. And they were pulling it from my car. It was literally torn. It was like 1 a.m. and people taking stuff from my car. I took stuff up north and we dropped it off at these bases. I don't know if you're Shlomo, maybe we have all these, a lot of soldiers that we knew from the community. We gave them large quantities of biltong and beef jerky and whatever we were able to source. And Saturday night, I sent you this voice message actually. I get a message from this guy, David Gancher, and he's like, this is brilliant. This is what we need. And this is not just something nice that a few people need. This is the real need. And I'm early on the need. So I'm like, we got to do it. So I called up there were a bunch of chefs in Beit Shemesh, my local town, who make beef jerky. They sell a few packages and a little dryer, dehydrator, like real, bootleg beef jerky. So I threw them all into a WhatsApp group and they were making a few packages for me. Went ahead. I said, listen, this is Saturday night. I got this message. I'm like, you know what? I need to do this right. I rented the synagogue hall down the street. I hired 4 chefs like this. Like, I don't know what got into me. I was going to buy a new car. I'm like, you know what? I'm not buying a new car. I got to help the boys. It'll work. And Sunday morning, I wake up and I'm like freaking, literally never in my life have I ever had a cold sweat. I'm like, oh my God. These chefs are going to be at my house. They're going to be screaming at me, yelling at me. I literally had them move their equipment to a synagogue. Like, I ordered a crazy amount of meat. Like, what am I thinking? And I walked down the street to the synagogue and there's like 300 people there. People cutting meat, people packaging, people writing. Like, we had this thing we have kids, we're writing these notes on the bags.
Oh my God.
And what was amazing, all right, let's check that one out. That gorgeous.
Love it. I love it.
What was amazing is that the war just hit. Everyone wants to do something and everyone has something to contribute. If it's writing a note on a bag, if it's putting a sticker, if it's helping to package, if it's doing logistics. So, and there was the head chef there, just one little example of what I call divine intervention. All right. And this is going to blow you away. You ready for this? This is insane.
I'm ready. Actually, I'm probably not ready, but I'm going to say I'm ready.
So what happened is I told the head chef there, I said, listen, I'm going to take care of all the expenses. You just come and make the product and tell me how much money you need to make to not do anything else. Because I'm taking nothing for this. I'm saying it's 100% nonprofit, which means You obviously can't be here if you need to feed your family. So how much money would you take to feed your family? And beyond that, don't take more. Just give me your number. And Sunday morning, the head there tells me, I need liquid smoke. I'm not using liquid smoke, but it's some sort of a flavor chemical. And a lot of people use it in beef jerky. It's a way to quickly get flavor infuse it with flavor and whatnot. So she's like, I need a bottle. So I went to the local store. They had a bottle. It's like $6 a bottle. This little bottle. I didn't know how much she needed. I don't know what flavor. 5:00 in the afternoon, she calls me back. And she's like, I need another 5 bottles. By the time I got around to going, the store was closed. She was all upset. And at 12:00 at night, she sends me a picture of 5 bottles or 10 bottles of liquid smoke that she bought. She said, I found this convenience store that had it. And like, she sent me a receipt, 180 shekels. You owe me 181 shekels, whatever it was. In the meantime, during the day, I had met a guy over the Sukkot holiday. Never met him before, lives in the neighborhood, and he's involved in food production, import and whatnot. So he's like, I called him up. I said, I'm doing this project. He's like, give me a list of the ingredients you need. He called a bunch of people. In the middle of the day, he tells me, how much of a certain chemical do you need? The chemical name for liquid smoke. I'm like, I asked them. They said, we need maybe, I don't know, a certain amount of. And he's like, okay, what's the address? This lady shows up Monday morning. I'm standing there, and she's got the receipt in her hand. She's like, what are you doing? What are you thinking? How are you going to take care of everything? What's your plan? Like you said, how are you going to do this? And she looks behind me, and there's 5 commercial cases of liquid smoke. She's like, where did you get that from? I'm like, it's free. She's like, how much did that cost? I'm like, it's free. And there's a pallet of it available. The story behind the story is Pizza Hut in Israel was going to make a product with liquid smoke. So they did all the research. They got Ministry of Health approval, the rabbi approval. They brought in a pallet of it. Then they didn't use it. It has a 7-year shelf life. And it was just sitting in this guy's warehouse. And every time they cleared the place out, it was the joke of the company, the liquid smoke. And the guy is 10 minutes from me. All of a sudden, the one ingredient that I couldn't source somewhere else, boom, it's waiting. So that's
unbelievable. That is a. I don't fully understand how that happened, but like, wow, that is truly an unbelievable story.
It's one of many, and I mean many. Like, so we went from sourcing, so we had chefs, but it primarily was not the ideal environment for mass production of beef jerky. Found a vendor in Jerusalem. Literally, while one thing was phasing out, 1:00 in the morning, I'm meeting with these chefs, and he sends me a picture of Haaretz, the big newspaper in Israel, of him with a big smile in front of his charcuterie shop. He's like, let's talk, with a big smile. And I'm with all these stress, like these chefs and all these things are giving me crazy headaches. He's like a big smile on his face. Come on. And so he was able to make it for us at a great price. And he threw in, after I paid the bill at the end of the month, he threw in an extra 10%, but he couldn't package it. So we had hundreds of volunteers packaging beef jerky. And these are people from all walks of life. Christians, Jews, Hasidic people, you name it, college students. We had like college programs. We had Aish, Birthright, Hillel, Chabad on campus, or you name it. These groups from all over South America, they came and packaged beef jerky, and they would deliver it to the units. And as they go in, I'm always like, it's never about the beef jerky. It's always about impact. So these people would come. And while, of course, we needed the donations, like this is 100% donation powered, but people would be ready to drive down, deliver beef jerky. And I'm like, 1 second, you're about to meet up with a logistics officer who's going to deliver this into Gaza or Lebanon or Syria. And you're the last line of defense here, because if he's missing something, you have 2 hours to find it. So ask him what he's missing. And sometimes it would be belts, and it would be like army belts, or it would be water. It would be often it was cigarettes. We had cardiologists buying thousands of dollars of cigarettes, and they would
That's amazing.
and they would send it. They would drop it off, and they would give a list, like the soldiers, a list of which cigarette brands they wanted, how they wanted it. And to me, it was always like, I am just a conduit. I'm just a delivery mechanism for something.
Mm-hmm.
And what I need, or what I'm trying to accomplish to fund it, is it's not my profession. I'm not good at it. And I don't really need to worry about it. I just need to put the story out there. And then I found a factory that I closed October 7th. This place was gorgeous. It was a gorgeous meat, fish factory. Gorgeous. 6 kilometers from Gaza. So about like, and it closed. It was family business for like 50 years.
Okay.
Closed its first time October 7th. Just sitting there empty. The owner is the sweetest guy in the world. He himself is a special forces guy. And he helped us get licensed. And all the logistics, like to get food license with the Ministry of Health, with the veterinarian, the head veterinarian of the south of Israel had to come down and approve it.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to write up these health and safety plans and ISOs and all these other things, and the rabbis and all the logistics of dealing with vendors. You can't just buy something. It needs to be an approved product, and then the staffing and all the logistics. So this was like January time we got the place. And I decided I'm going to do it for kosher for Passover, which was very difficult.
Yeah.
It's hard to find ingredients that are kosher for Passover in February.
Yeah.
We did it. We got it out. And we must have given out about, from our factory, like
Mm-hmm.
a Beef Up Our Boys factory. We got out about 6,000 packages of beef jerky leading up to Passover. And the units that got it, these are like special forces guys getting it, because the guys that are on base somewhere, guys who go in and out every day, they don't really need it. They love to have it. It's lightweight food. It's tasty. It's a variation. But the guys who go in first, the guys who go in the strike first forces, the food that they carry is what they have to eat. And this guy was telling me, he's like, we go in first and we need to take care of our health, because we're literally, there's no one there to protect us, and there's no food supply. We're the ones there to secure the area, and we're sleeping virtually nothing. We have to keep ourselves, we carry our water with us, we carry our food with us. Every ounce matters. And he's like, when we have beef jerky, we know we're not going to be hungry. It gives us, it's lightweight. And one of the things we do, because again, this is not a commercial product, it's a charity product for soldiers. Ultimately, I'm hoping it'll be a ration product. We'll get it into the army, whatever they want to pay for it. We'll give it to them. And look at that label. You see that?
Yeah.
Beef Up Our Boys. And our brands are Courage Under Fire. That's the flavor for spicy. Strength and Honor is like our mainstay. And Sweet and Salty. So those are our flavors, you know?
I love it.
And it's just giving energy. And you got, like, we put the blessing on the bag, Shachol Yevdero, that everything comes from God. And we had this rabbi who was explaining to, like, the head commander of the big base. We took him there, and he's like, when you don't know how to process something in life, you make that blessing. It's like, everything comes from God. Everything's from his word. Everything has its place.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had a soldier who, beginning of the war, Ari Zettelman, his dad he got some guy in his unit got beef jerky from us, and he called up his dad, and he's like, can you get my unit beef jerky? His dad's calling all these vendors. No one's got it. Finally, he calls me, and he's like, listen, I want to get a few packages for my son. I'm like, we don't give a few packages, and we don't sell it, but we give it to the whole unit. Like, here's a link, go spread the word, let people know about this, but come take it. And the unit, he sends back into combat. And again, a bag of this is a small shopping bag. This is like an 8-ounce steak or a 6-ounce steak in a 2-ounce bag. So it's like, lightweight wise, it's amazing. It's like a miracle.
Right.
So unfortunately, Ari Zettelman, he's so enamored. He sends us a video of him eating the beef jerky with the bag and everything. And unfortunately, he got killed. He fell in combat, and he's got 3 little kids. And I told the family, I said, listen, I want to put a message on the bag in his honor. Like, we're not going to write in memory out, because you don't send the bag into combat in memory of a soldier who fell. That's not exactly morale boosting. So they picked this verse from Kings 1. And the verse goes, this is Elijah. He was on the journey, and he was hungry, and he was broken. And also a miracle happened in a tree grew. And it says, I'll read it in Hebrew, Vayakam vayicha vayishta, that he got up, he ate and drank, and he continued with the energy.
Mm-hmm.
And what's amazing about this verse is it doesn't say that he ate and got up. Normally,
Right.
someone's out of energy, you eat, and then you get up. No. First, vayakam. First, you want to get energy from what you're doing. You want to get inspiration. Stand up.
Mm-hmm.
Stand up. Be there. Be present. Like you said, I booked this thing. I booked it like the next spot. Let's take it. Let's do it.
Yes.
Let's move.
Yep.
And just get up and do it. Just get up and go. And that to me is so much of what this bag means. Because when a soldier gets this bag, and religious wise, I'm kind of on the spectrum. I float around a little.
Yeah.
But if I'm going to represent a product, I'm going to put kosher basari. It's meat kosher. I'm going to put b'siyata d'shmaya and God's grace. I'm going to put the blessing on the bag. I'm going to call the product beef up our boys. I'm going to call the brand strength and honor, courage under fire. And I'm going to give them something in a bag written by a kid. And they're going to have this in combat. And so many soldiers said that they ate the meat and they saved the bag. Because this means something. This means something. This means they're fighting with us. They're fighting for us. And sometimes when you're doing something difficult and you're away from your family again for 89 days, and again you're in danger, and again you're eating garbage and sleeping in who knows where and fighting in dangerous places, when you get something that means something, that's everything.
Chaim, unbelievable. First of all, you're an unbelievable storyteller. You're just good at grasping people's attention. But I want to ask you something about your story. You do a very good job of telling kind of your story downstream. And what I mean by that is you've obviously started Beef Up Our Boys, and all these things have happened. And, you've obviously made a tremendous impact on our soldiers and helping them make sure that they're nourished when they fight. But for you, as somebody that's so selfless, right? Like, you could go about your day doing your job and, support Israel passively, which I think a lot of people do. It's easy to post on social media. It's easy to do Israel advocacy stuff. But for you, like, you're literally taking all of your day. Like, this is what you're devoted to now. Beef Up Our Boys. This is what you're devoted to. So you're a very selfless guy. You take your ego out of it. But I guess for somebody like you, that is very selfless. So how do you tell your story as a selfless guy?
Really good question. And something that you said, and just hearing about the history of Schmoozing time, that you're like a proud Jew.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine you give someone pride. Like, I'm sure you've done stuff with youth. I'm sure you engage with youth. I was a big brother when I was in school in Milwaukee. And sometimes, and he's like, just take the kid bowling. Get a burger with him. It's 1 hour a week. You have no idea what that 1 hour means for that person. And sometimes, like, you're doing something, and if someone else could respond to it, if someone else could say, you know what, where is my pride? Where's my pride? And one person, I don't know if you know him, Nissim Black, he's in the end there.
Of course.
And he's a brilliant Torah scholar. Brilliant. And he's like, idol worship, avodah zarah, is one of the biggest sins. He's like, what's idol worship? It's anything that's foreign to you. Any mimicry that you're doing in your life is idol worship. When I heard that, I'm like, I based my whole life on find leaders, find heroes, and mimic them. I was like, I have to have an inner voice. I have to have an inner mission that I'm proud of, that no one's going to relate to because it's mine. And that's like, if one person hears this podcast, if one person hears this story and says, you know what, I could relate to it. I can make a difference. I sponsor $10. $10. That's a package of beef jerky to a soldier. I host a decorating event. I get 100 kids in my community or my JCC to decorate a bag. That's 100 kids expressing their message. And imagine those moms all take a picture of it and share it out on their WhatsApp groups. That's multiplied of people being energized by pure love and connection. And the biggest point here, which is to me, you say it's selfless, but it's really very selfish. I want to survive. I want to survive. And the only way we survive is with Avat Chinam, is with his Tikkun Olam, is with the universal connecting of all people, focusing on humanity. And don't let the 7 Noahide laws, don't break them. Don't spew garbage. Don't make up lies. Don't kidnap. Don't steal. Honor people and respect people and shared responsibility. We're all responsible. So to me, like the Baba Rebbe says, time of the biggest darkness, biggest light. If one guy, God forbid, could blow up a train station and kill how many people, how many thousands of lives are impacted from that? Where do you have an example of one person doing even more, that plus in goodness? And the answer is every one of us, every moment of our lives, we bring goodness. We bring goodness to people. And to me, we need to win. Winning is being proud. Proud of being Jewish, which means proud of being a God-chosen person on this planet. And I hate to preach, but I'm going to preach, if you don't mind.
Go for it.
So I got this teacher, Rabbi Laser Brody, and he said this thing, emuna, right? Emuna means faith, belief. I'm going to read what he wrote. Emuna, it means believing in Hashem, that Hashem is with you. And once you believe that Hashem is with you, you can believe in yourself. What that means to me is to whatever extent, and there's been 1,000 times, even this past week, I'm like, I got requests for like 3,000-4,000 packages of beef jerky.
Yeah.
I got the vendors, everything's lined up, right? I'm like, how am I going to get the word out? How am I going to inspire people? I'm not going. My wife hates it when I tell people, we need to donate. She's like, don't say that anymore. Just be positive. Positive, good energy. And I think this applies in this space professionally. To whatever extent I don't believe in myself, it's to that extent I don't believe in God. I don't believe that God could make it work for me, that God could fill in those gaps, that God empowered me. Who says I can't?
That's very, very powerful. And I think this concept of emunah and faith is so important in personal branding. Do you have enough faith in yourself to go out there and put yourself out there? And I mean, all of this really, what this all comes from is your belief in God. Because I think a lot of what you're doing is scary to most people. And I'm sure it's scary to you that you're sacrificing a lot of time and money to make beef jerky for soldiers. But it boils down to like you having a ton of faith in Hashem, that everything will work out the way that it's supposed to. And that ultimately you're living a life that's fulfilling and you're trying to share that message with the rest of the world. So I think that's a phenomenal way of looking at things. And personally, like I've never really viewed it as having, I think what you just said there was like, if you don't have faith in God, essentially you don't have faith in yourself, which That's very powerful to me, just because I've developed a lot of faith in God and Hashem, and it's something that I like continue to try and do, and it's an ever evolving process of struggling, finding God, and really the entire time it's Hashem's there. Hashem's always with us. Well, Chaim, thank you for coming on the show. I want to ask you, how can people help you out specifically? I know Beef Up Our Boys is growing by the day and need more volunteers. You could always use donations, but really, how can people help you?
So, one little sidetrack from what you were saying before. I had this idea years back for a social media platform that shows two sides of the story and let users decide two sides and keep it dynamic.
Okay.
I actually got a patent for it, Social Libre. And I built the site, and I never, because of fears and all these other things, I never got it off the ground.
Okay.
And when this project started, it kind of is like a startup.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a startup to help people. And I just wanted to help people. Like, if I'm needed, if I could make a difference, if I could walk that disabled person across the street, if I could get that guy that burger and say, good luck in your life at that moment in his life, whatever it is, if I could be that person, how could I not do it? What would I not sacrifice to help? So it's like God paid me back, because now I went ahead and I started a whole project, ran a whole initiative, learned life balance, learned all these things you need to do when you do something for good. Like, I feel like I've gotten paid back just from the life experience of getting up and doing and fighting that resistance. And I guess to answer your question pointed is, we are in a very, very challenged time. We're in a time where we're reaching the age of technical maturity.
Mm-hmm.
What that is where human interaction, real life, becomes the most scarce product on the planet. And that means it's going to become the most valuable product on the planet. And the Jewish people, we have the Shabbos holidays where we unplug to whatever extent we do it. It could be a Shabbat meal, it could be lighting candles, it could be not doing any of the laws. It's we connect. We connect with humanity. We connect with the holidays, with what's real. And it's our opportunity now to connect. Find something every day to connect with and go the distance. Get out of your comfort zone. I think Beef Up Our Boys is a great way to do it. Who doesn't want to sponsor a package of beef jerky for a soldier? Who doesn't want to share it on your group? Say, you know what? There's a unit of 100 guys. Every guy's going to get it. I'm going to go raise $1,000. It's not $1,000. It's 1,000 packages sponsored from people's hearts, given to connect. I'm gonna get my synagogue or my group to package a bag. But the most important thing is, in your life, listen to the callings. Listen to the things in your life. You hear it, you see it, it's because you can impact it. Whether it's a startup, because that's also great to do. Whether it's an initiative, a family initiative, whatever it is. And if it's a charitable one, do it.
Mm-hmm.
And if what you're doing, David, for us, I can't even tell you how many creators out there. They're generous people, but they're running a business. But they're the mouthpiece to community. They're the mouthpiece to communicate. I'm doing this for free. The soldiers are fighting for free. Their families are sacrificing for free. Their grandparents are watching the kids for free. So many people are doing things for free. Let's take our best thing we have. Let's take our platform. Let's take our money. Let's take our resources. Take 1/10 of that, or even 1% of that, and pick a cause. And always have your charitable cause that you're pushing. And if you can't find one, make one.
Wow. Very, very powerful. I like how you weaved in a little bit of Torah there, saying 10%, because technically we're supposed to give 10% of whatever we earn to charity. So I First of all, one thing that you said going back earlier was the piece about human interaction. And I know you work with software. I personally have been doing a lot of work with AI. I could not agree with that more because I think a lot of things are going to be automated. And I think we already live our lives through our computers. Like we're doing this interview through the computer, right? And it's great because like we get to connect, but it's not the same. It's not the same as sitting there in person with you, having this interview, which is like, one of my goals is like have this be an in-person thing full time. Like that'd be phenomenal. But I think again, another thing that you said was like finding your cause. I think a lot of people kind of just go through life, do work, retire, and then they die and they don't find a cause. It's like, what was my cause? My cause wasn't my 9 to 5. My cause wasn't, taking care of my kids. Like, what was my thing that I did to change the world? And a lot of people don't have that. So thank you for saying that. Cause I don't know, maybe maybe we're crazy people and we're the only ones thinking that like we need to find a cause and do something, but I could not agree with that more. So thank you for speaking about that. And yes, doing things for free, especially in times like right now, like it shouldn't even be a thought. Like, I don't know why there aren't more people like me sharing other people's stories. Like, what do I lose from doing something like this? Absolutely nothing, right? Like I get to meet you and talk to you and learn about your story and share it and done. I don't lose anything. Like, why are more people not doing that? So I could not agree with that more. So Chaim, thank you for coming on the show again. Any final thoughts, any parting words?
Just may God bless you.
Thank you.
To continue your energy, to share your space, and may you scale. May you constantly be scaling and seeing new inspirations and connecting with more and more people. And I'll give you, like they say, I'll bless you, you bless me back. That may your honor precede you, may your integrity guide you, and may your life force and spirit bring you to my doorstep so we could have a schmooze over a good rye whiskey in Israel.
Oh my God. You had me at rye. I didn't know you were a rye drinker. I would have got my bottle and drank it during the interview. I'm so glad you enjoyed this week's episode of Schmoozing Time. Thank you so much for tuning in. In addition to sharing this episode with someone, make sure you follow on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube Shorts. Also, make sure you're following the show on Apple Podcasts and or Spotify. Until next time, keep schmoozing.